Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off. The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.
We're back at you with Gloves Off, and today we're talking with Mary Lambert from Pillar. It's an organization. We're going to be talking about something that occurs a lot during the holiday seasons. During Christmas time, a lot of people get depressed, and we'll be talking about suicide and suicide prevention and how can we help others. Good morning. How are we doing?
Fine, thank you. Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Nice seeing you too.
Well, tell me, this is a season where a lot of people start getting very depressed, okay? And we all seen those friends and see what they've, especially now on social media, what they're posting and so on and so forth, and
Right.
and the suicide rate kind of goes up. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
On your side, because you counsel a lot of individuals individuals that come in. For friends out there, what are the signs of somebody that is going down?
Well, it all depends. Simply because you can be a very outgoing person and not even give a hint to the other individual. But there's subtleties. Sometimes, well, I guess one of the biggest signs that a person can give is like giving away precious items that they have had. Just giving them away just because, and out of the ether, so to speak. It's a horrible situation when a person goes through depression, because at that particular moment in time, and it happens to many people, a lot of people, for that moment, they can only focus obviously on their pain, and they cannot see that there's another chance, that there's another possibility. It's kind of like their world closes in on them at that moment in time. And it's so important for them to have the support that they need, so that they can get out of that mind frame and get counseling, so they can get over that hurdle. Because depression, it takes many lives. I mean, look at Robin Williams, look at all these artists.
Sure.
Even I wouldn't say Michael Jackson was depressed, but he had other issues. But certainly, that particular status, you would think, well, for example, in the case of Robin Williams, he's a very funny comedian, an A-lister for sure in Hollywood. He would always make people laugh. He was always smiling. And then all of a sudden, it just took everybody by surprise, when unfortunately he ended his life. So it's a horrible situation that affects millions of people, regardless of status and anything. It just affects everybody.
The main thing that you start seeing, what I've noticed, especially in this time frame, is the posts. You have a lot of parents that are going to be by themselves without their kids. You have a lot of kids that are going to be away from their parents. You have a lot of people that are not making ends meet, trying to get into buy gifts and so on and so forth. And you start seeing the posts start coming up. And it's the main question is, how can we get somebody that's going down that rabbit hole and pull them out before it's too late?
Definitely intervention, talking. Certainly when a person's in a point that they're very depressed, it depends on the individual. Some will seek help, some will not. But just to make sure that there's services available, just to reach out to them, I think would be a start. For example, in the case with the parents, and it's a very touchy situation where the parents, for whatever reason, they're not allowed to visit with their children through the holidays. I know just recently, about 2 weeks ago, a young father, I think he was about early 30s, he committed suicide.
Sure.
For the reason that his wife would not let him visit his children.
Or ex-wife.
I'm sorry, you're right, his ex-wife, for the holidays.
I'm going to talk to you about a story about that, because
Okay.
I went through a divorce, and many of us have, and we were with that battling of children, and I love my kids left and right, and I've always been with them.
Right.
I remember noticing a young man from Laredo start posting very negative about not being able to see his daughter, and he hadn't seen his daughter since his daughter was 1 and she was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he had an incident that occurred when he went to go pick her up out of town, and finally he was going to be given the ability to see and spend the weekend with her. So he was so happy, went over there, and he gets arrested. They made false accusations at him, and so on and so forth. He lost his job. He lost all this other stuff that was coming in. He spent some time in jail, all because of the ex-mother-in-law and the ex-sister-in-laws come up with this deranged, lunatic type of lie.
Yeah.
And they said that he had went in there, was very aggressive, and the police in another town just arrested him. And he was going to commit suicide. And I remember people said the last days, like, "Wait, where you at?" And I picked up the phone, and I just called him right off a messenger. I go, "Well, what's going on?"
Right.
I mean, 'cause I knew him. And I go, "You know what? Let's go grab a burger. Let's go talk a little bit." And he started telling me the whole situation. I said, "You know what? There is a movement. There is certain associations now that have
Right.
fathers' rights and parental rights and equality rights and so on and so forth." So I kind of geared him up, I bought his gun. I told him, here, your gun's mine now.
That's
Until you feel comfortable, I'll give it back to you.
right.
If not, here's the $500,
Yeah.
you know? So I took that from him, you know? He has yet come forward, so if you're listening out there, it's still there. But the problem that we have is being able to grab somebody and putting
Yes.
them in. You know, why are we going to cop out now? There's a lot of other issues that we can get help with. You know, if it's financial, if it's stress related, if it's work, there's programs out there, and Pillar's one that is.
Yes.
You know, it's very hard, and the question that I'm going to ask you is, how many do you see that are actually going in, not into depression, into the actual thoughts of suicide?
Well, I'm not sure about the numbers, but as far as Laredo statistics, from the information that I received so far in Laredo, and it's not a high number, but it's sad because even if one life is lost,
Sure.
that's lost.
Sure.
19 people so far have ended their lives in Laredo, Texas, that are reported, of course. A majority of those lives are ended, obviously, by the unfortunate gunshot or hanging. The other ways are medication overdoses and blunt force. Blunt force meaning that they jump off of a high structure or something like that. Pillar does offer many services to Laredo, and one of those services is obviously intervention, reaching out to people who just want to talk. Now, the interesting thing about Pillar is that, for example, let's say an individual needs someone to talk to. There's a small fee of, get this, only $35 one-time fee for 7 sessions with a licensed professional counselor. You know.
Now, you said a fee. If somebody doesn't have,
Then we will waive.
You will waive it.
Yes, we'll consider that.
now here's my other question.
Yes, sir.
What happens if you know that somebody's going down that, and then you say, you know what, my friend is going down there, can you help them? Can you all outreach to them? Is that possible?
I'm not too sure about the outreach, simply because, again, it has to do with their own personal space. Does this person really want us to reach out to them? But we'll certainly consider that. We consider every case individual. We're definitely not cookie cutters in this aspect.
Understood. Now, for family members,
Right.
family members that have, you know, the young teenager, adolescent that are contemplating that,
Yes.
how can they deal with coping to try to get them out? Can a parent?
Definitely the parent can intervene on behalf of their own child, obviously. The parents are always welcome to come, and they can self-refer their own children to us, and we will seek, excuse me, we will make sure that those children are seen by people who actually care. And it's safe to say that every single counselor at Pillar, and not just the counselors, the staff also, they really deeply care for the needs of other people. For example, right now, the holidays, like you mentioned earlier, some parents are not able to provide, let alone the basics, food, clothing, we're not even talking about Christmas gifts. What we do is we get in contact with other agencies, with other entities in Laredo to at least, you know what, we can't provide you for right now monetary assistance, but you know what, here's a place where you can have food, or here's a place where they can give you groceries or clothing or whatever. We do our best and assist those. And also, like, for example, other agencies that help with one-time payment for utilities or even rent. You know, we do help the individual as best as we can.
Absolutely. What other programs does Pillar offer besides the depression, suicide counseling?
Oh, well, obviously mental health counseling, marriage counseling, counseling for people who have been abused in all aspects, sexually, mentally, physically. We all offer that. Substance abuse, alcohol. We also have programs that reach out as far as building up the individual's self-esteem, you know, motivational programs. We have programs that help a person when they want to seek an alternative way of eating, for example, becoming a vegan or considering becoming a vegetarian, and all the health benefits about that. Not only that, but we also have programs that help with spirituality, not religiosity, spirituality. And so they can reach, so we can cover holistically possibly every area of the person's life, not just one particular issue.
So there's other factors there that Pillar can help you all with.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Pillar is just a 10-year entity, but we're growing and we're expanding, and we have wonderful plans for 2020, the new decade that's about to hit us in a few weeks.
Well, expand on those plans. What do you
Well-
think? What's new that's going to come our way by Pillar?
Well, I just mentioned it right now, meditation.
Okay.
We're offering services. We started offering those services in the summer of this year. Meditation, in which individuals can come on a Saturday and say, you know what, let's meditate, and we will take them to guided imagery, meditation, relaxation, and it's wonderful. Another thing, we are in the process of, hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, getting in contact with some A-listers from Hollywood so that they could help raise awareness about our particular situation in Laredo, Texas. And we also want to help raise funds for Pillar to help us to continue to provide services to families that are in need.
What is the particulars of Laredo?
Poverty, I would say one thing. I want to say lack of resources. We have resources, but not enough. I see a lot of people going out to other cities when they can get the services here.
Absolutely. You know, I have always, I grew up in Laredo. I went off and I lived abroad for a while and came back, moved back. And I remember when I was in high school, especially my senior year, they used to have a old slogan, "Keep the buck in Laredo." I don't know if you remember that. You should see the billboards throughout town. Keep the buck in Laredo. You had a lot of individuals that would come here. You had a lot of great professionals, from attorneys to doctors to dentists. And people would say, no, I'm going to go to San Antonio, I'm going to go to Houston, I'm going to go elsewhere for my doctor. I'm going to go to Corpus, this for my doctor, for my lawyer, for elsewhere. So they would downgrade the professionals that we have here.
Yes.
And they'll be like, oh, no, si bien aquí. But then all of a sudden they'll end up in the emergency room, and they were the ones that were taking care of the mess that was caused by the doctors in San Antonio and Houston and so on and so forth, dentists and whatnot, or people get stranded in the court with attorneys from out of town. So you're like, so we can't downgrade Laredo. Laredo's a beautiful city, the beautiful town. We have great people. There's a friendship about Laredo that exists. It's multicultural now.
Yes,
And it's getting better, and everybody's trying to improve, okay? And we can't downplay Laredo anymore. It is a factor in the U.S. now.
Yeah, I agree. Laredo, it really has wonderful people here. And like you said, we have many unspoken heroes in this city that do provide assistance to people that are in need, And it's a shame that has been the thing to do. Okay, you want this, go out of town. You want to go here, go out of town. And, it's not that, my respect for the people out of town in San Antonio and surrounding areas, but Laredo has what it takes, It's within the people, and all we need to do is just connect with one another. That's it.
You're absolutely correct. Now back to the subject of somebody going down that rabbit hole of depression and suicide. What are some good words for people that are coming into the show late, watching late? What can they do now if they're in that position?
Well, definitely, I would tell them, it may seem like it's the end of the world right now, but in reality, it is not. There's always hope. As long as the person is alive and breathing, there's hope. There's always hope. And if you feel shy, you know what? Just a phone call, and Pillar will have someone to reach out to you to help you. You can even leave a message, and we'll call you. We'll call them back. But it's a sad thing when a person gets in that particular mind frame.
For sure.
But there's, like I said, there's always hope. It may seem that there's no way I'm never gonna see my child again, or in the cases in simple divorce, I'm never gonna find love again, or, I'm never gonna achieve whatever it is that I'm aspiring to achieve. There's always hope. It may not be, getting that particular relationship back, but you know what? Improving upon and within yourself, and then be ready for the next relationship. And maybe that academic goal, perhaps it didn't work out, but you know what? There's many other things that the person can do. So there's always hope, as long as the person at least reaches out and say, can you please help me? And that's all we need. That's all we need.
And I want to thank you for coming out and sharing.
Thank you.
And it's important, because this is a time that people come down. Folks, if you guys are in need, Pillar, and what's the phone number?
I believe it's 723-7457.
723-7457.
Yes.
And reach out. Moms, dads, if you see your teenager going down that rabbit hole, please step in, okay? Let's do our parts. If we see our brothers, sisters, friends going down that end, talk to them, reach out. That's what it's about, it's the holiday season. Not everybody's gonna be spending it with their family, with their loved ones, with their friends. Some people are gonna be working, some people are gonna be away from family and such. So people get down a little bit. So, hey, if you are the type to go out and sit at a bar and talk to the person down the bar.
Yeah.
Okay? Plain and simple. It's just the friendliness that we need to do.
Absolutely.
Okay?
We're all connected with each other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time, peace.
Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by The Best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.